Today is no ordinary day. It marks the moment I finally feel that justice has been brought to Star Citizen. But in order to understand the magnitude of this moment, we must begin at the beginning. The time where this ship could kill a hammerhead in 13 shots and one-shot any light fighter. Welcome to the reason I stopped making Meet the Ships videos. Welcome to the day that finally changes. Crusader is a manufacturer known for high speeds and sleek looks. When the Ares Ion graced our screens back in 2021, it was a beast. Nothing was safe from the wrath of this behemoth size 7 cannon. In one swift move, it could strip your shields and rip your hull in two, and this all came at the cost of nothing. In 15 seconds, the Ion's capacitor would be full and ready to punish anything you could throw at it. The things were too good to be true, as the Ion was rapidly nerfed, and rightly so. However, this is where the trouble began. Suddenly, the Ion had more damage per second, but less damage per shot. So far, this isn't the end of the world, but this wasn't all. The fixed sniper-like size 7 cannon was given artificial dispersion on its shots, meaning any hope of hitting larger targets at long range was gone, and it didn't stop there. The entire flight model was changed so that it always pulled up and floated past the reticle when maneuvering, meaning it was almost impossible to use this machine for its intended purpose. To put this into perspective, Star Citizen had just invented Usain Bolt only to cut his legs off and tell him to run. So why now? Why am I spending all this time making a video for a ship that has caused me so much pain in the past? Well, it's because someone at CIG has been buffing this ship, patch by patch, and never saying a word. My friends, it brings me great joy to announce that Ion is not only playable, it's perfect. So for the first time, let me proudly introduce the Ares Starfighter, Crusader's premier heavy fighter. Before we dive into this amazing ship, I would ask any of you who enjoys this video to like, subscribe, and even head over to my Twitch channel for more content. It's been a long time since I've expanded this series, and your support truly makes it a reality. There is something magical about the presence of this beast. Knowing one pilot can punish almost any large target in the verse is incredible, and the fact its ammunition replenishes makes this one of the most attractive heavy fighters out there. When taking a look at the aesthetics of this beast, it's hard to miss the imposing nature of the single hardpoint. The whole ship feels like it's been built around this. The entire rear half of the ship has been dedicated to keeping the Ion cool with 3 size 2 coolers. Every other component has been neatly arranged behind the pilot in order to retain some resemblance of central mass distribution. From the front, the Ion has an incredible 2-level wing system in order to aid aerodynamics and force as much air as possible into its engines. But it also creates the perfect place to hide 3 missile racks. 2 size 5 racks flank either side of the cockpit, but hidden just under the cannon is an additional internal size 7 rack that can carry 12 size 3 missiles. However, it's important to note that this internal missile rack can group fire, however it will only fire 1 missile at a time. But this is one of my favourite parts of the Ion. Unlike almost every other ship in the game, not everything is on display. Missiles don't feel like an afterthought, they are carefully embedded within the framework of the ship. In the original concept art, you could even hide all 3 racks, but I'm pretty happy with what we got in the end. Moving round to the back of the ship, we can see the level of detail that Crusader has gone to. A weapons rack allows for 2 primary weapons and 2 pistols or utility equipment, such as a tractor beam. While this has been intended for future-proofing Ion for the day where we cannot wear guns on our back and fly, right now it means the Ion is perfectly capable of running a few bunkers and loot missions. There is something about being under these engines that feels amazing. I truly wish I could pull up a chair and sit here and watch the storm roll in, and of course not the tank. Finally, moving into the cockpit, you are welcomed with the standard high-quality Crusader finish. No loose cables, no cheap upholstery, everything feels premium. 2 MFD panels are visible during combat alongside additional 2 virtual MFDs that appear at the top, left and right of your screen. This leads to a total of 6 potential MFD screens. And now, as we leave the hangar, it's time for an honourable mention of what I think is the best landing gear system in the game. Feels like these doors alone have more tech than a Cutlass Black. Everything possible has been done to keep this ship as aerodynamic as possible. Right, let's get to the business of flying. If you haven't guessed already, I'm a massive fanboy for this ship, but just you wait, as these engines sound absolutely insane. So how does the Ion handle? Well, in reality, it's a mixed bag. In a straight line, you can hunt down some of the fastest of ships, and remember, you should be targeting large ships, so you have more than enough speed to catch up to any of them. For sharp turns and braking, the afterburner is your best friend, so manage its usage well. The weapon's capacitor is so large, you can focus on getting more juice into the engines where possible. Of course, it goes without saying that your shields come first, as while the Ion looks pretty, it gets major torque imbalances faster than a sinking ship. When in combat, your biggest limitation is your turn rate. Smaller ships will jump on you and never let go. It's fair to say an alone Ion could be a doomed Ion, so always try to have a friend in something more manoeuvrable. But with some good practice, you will find ways to heavily punish the mistakes of smaller ships, such as an Arrow or Gladius. One shot should wipe out their shields, and from there you're blowing through their hull at a magnitude of raids. Missiles of course are your friend here. Sending some of these off as you head into battle could give you the early advantage that you need. After this point, it's likely that you can get 2 or 3 shots off from the main cannon as your player is distracted, especially if they're already fighting in a group, so make sure these count. Let's move on to talking about how we get the Ion ready for battle. To be honest, this is probably one of the easiest ships to get ready. Its laser cannon cannot be changed, the internal missile rack cannot be changed, and frankly having 8 size 3 missiles packs a great punch on the outside. Your main priority is upgrading the shields. Personally, I would recommend the FR76, but anything grade A should do the trick here. And finally, your quantum drive. By default, you have a crossfield, which is the 3rd fastest size 2 drive of its type. You could upgrade to the XL1 and save a full 6 seconds over a 20 million kilometer journey, but I wouldn't panic too much. While the crossfield is less efficient, your fuel tanks are so large it doesn't really matter. However, when the burst gets bigger, this would be a good upgrade to make. If however you are indulging in some light PvP action, then the faster 0.75 second spoiler time will make chasing targets more convenient and easier. But not everything is perfect for the Ion. Its history highlights the challenges of balancing a one-trick pony. Being able to one-shot a light fighter isn't fun for the person on the receiving end, regardless of the argument that it's easy to dodge. Creating artificial dispersion on a fixed mounted weapon was probably one of the worst moves in history for balancing ships, and I hope we never see it again. These days your biggest drawbacks come from smaller than average hydrogen fuel tanks and very, very flimsy wings. A few seconds of ballistic fire and you are out of the game. And for any of those saying the Ion isn't practical for daily tasks such as box missions, allow me to correct you. Watch and learn as we have one box safely wedged into the lap of your character. Is there nothing this ship can't do? While many people melted the Ion after its nerfs, I have always used this as my daily driver. Each recent patch has been a breath of fresh air because of the improvements made here. If you are someone who follows the hot new thing, I'd wager you haven't flown the Ion or Inferno for a very long time. And I'm sure many pilots out there have never felt a true connection to flying one ship in Star Citizen. Trust me on this, give it a try. You will be stunned on the impact it can have on your game. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the developers who corrected the past and brought into life one of, if not the most unique heavy fighters out there. To summarise, the Ion hasn't been the clear favourite for anything in a very long time. When it comes to immediate destruction, the Eclipse or Retaliator can do a better job. If you are in a dogfight with a smaller ship, your day may go south very quickly. But if you want the ability to fly all day with fuel tanks being your only constraint, if you love hearing the scream of 4 engines pressing every fibre in your body back into your seat as you chase down a fully crewed cargo ship, then this could be the ship for you. David has returned and it's time for Goliath to yield once more. Long live the Ion.